Welcome back to The Explainer. So, let's dive right into this. Discovering a mistake on your birth certificate, literally your most vital identifying document, can induce an immediate, massive wave of panic. I completely get it. It feels like your very identity is somehow, well, wrong in the eyes of the law. But listen, take a deep breath. Today, we're breaking down the Texas birth certificate correction process. I'm going to give you a totally straightforward, easy to follow roadmap to get that error fixed without pulling your hair out.
All right, here's our game plan for today's explainer. We'll kick things off with number one, the birth certificate dilemma. Then we'll move through phase one, prepare your case, phase two, the paperwork, phase three, submit and wait, and finally we'll wrap up with some pro tips for success.
Okay, let's jump straight into part one, the birth certificate dilemma, identifying the problem. Look, navigating government bureaucracy is practically nobody's idea of a good time, right? It can honestly feel like wandering through a maze completely blindfolded. But I want to reassure you right out of the gate, this chunked three-phase approach we're going over is designed specifically to demystify the whole Texas Department of State Health Services, or DSHS, process. The state actually has a very clear, established legal path for requesting corrections through their vital statistics section. You are definitely not the first person to deal with a paperwork glitch, and there's a reliable system in place to fix it. So let me ask you, is your name misspelled on your birth certificate? Or, crazy as it sounds, did the hospital somehow get your birth date wrong? Seeing those errors in black and white can be incredibly alarming because your ability to get a passport, enroll in school, or even secure a driver license is tied to this single piece of paper. But these mistakes happen, whether it's a simple typo from a busy clerk or miscommunication when you were born. The absolute key here is identifying exactly what's wrong so we can target the fix. When we're talking about corrections, the state of Texas basically sees most issues fall into a few specific buckets. First up are name errors, whether that's a mistake in your first, middle, or last name. Then there's parent information, like incorrect details about your mom or dad. But check out those last 2 points. Changing a date of birth, that requires some seriously strong supporting evidence, and a gender correction might even require additional documentation or court orders. The big takeaway here is that the more fundamental the change, the higher the burden of proof you're going to need to provide to the state. Moving right along to Section 2, Phase 1, prepare your case. Now that we know what the problem is, we need to build your defense. Honestly, gathering the right tools and info upfront is half the battle won. If you prepare thoroughly in this phase, the rest of the process is really just letting the gears of government turn. Let's look at the foundational steps. First, you've got to identify the exact error. Don't just generically say, "My name is wrong." Know exactly which letter, which name, or which specific date needs changing. Second, obtain the correct Texas Amendment form. You can download this specific birth record amendment application directly from the Texas Vital Statistics website. And third, gather your supporting documents. This is where you pull together the hard evidence to prove to the state what the correct information should actually be. Now, what's truly surprising is the sheer variety of evidence Texas accepts. I mean, yes, even a decades-old baptism record can literally be the golden ticket to proving your case. We're looking at acceptable documents like a U.S. passport, your driver's license, or even your early school records. Hospital records and baptism records are incredibly useful puzzle pieces, especially for dates of birth and parent info. In some more complex cases, court orders are totally necessary, alongside parent identification documents. Your mission right now? Dig into your files, contact those local institutions, and physically gather these documents before you do anything else.
All right, up next is Section 3, Phase 2, the paperwork.
Okay, so you have your evidence in hand. This right here is the critical execution point. This is where we take all that fantastic evidence you just gathered and translate it onto the official forms to make your request legally binding. Let's break down the anatomy of the application itself. Step 1 is straightforward but totally vital. You must accurately complete the applicant info. You need to provide the current, incorrect info exactly as it appears on the certificate, and then the correct new info you want it changed to. Step 2, you'll need to clearly state the reason for the correction. Then, steps 3 and 4 involve taking this application to a notary public to obtain their official stamp and signature. But wait, hold on. Before you grab a pen to finish filling out the form, stop right there. Actually, put the pen down and burn this rule into your memory. Do not sign beforehand. I really cannot emphasize this warning enough, guys. It is the single most common fatal flaw that gets applications immediately rejected. You absolutely must sign the application in the physical presence of the notary public. If you sign it at your kitchen table and then take it to the notary, you've ruined the form and you'll literally have to start all over again. Just wait for the notary to tell you it's time to sign. And here's another crucial detail to keep in mind. Fees. The state, as you might guess, does not do this for free. Texas charges specific amendment fees to process the legal change, as well as separate certificate issuance fees if you want them to actually print and send you the newly corrected document. So before you seal that envelope, you must verify the current fees required. Submitting the wrong payment amount is a guaranteed way to stall your entire application, because if there's one thing the state notices faster than a typo, it's the wrong fee amount.
And that brings us to Section 4, Phase 3, Submit and Wait.
Take a deep breath here because the heavy lifting on your end is mostly done. Now it's time to hand this whole ordeal off to the state and let their administrative system take over. But before it leaves your hands, you've got to use this foolproof submission checklist. Let's run through it. Do you have your completed amendment application? Check. Your supporting documents? Check. Did you include a clear copy of your valid ID? Make sure you do. Is your payment for fees enclosed in the envelope? And finally, is that notarized signature perfectly executed on the form? Do not drop this package in the mail until you can confidently check off every single item on this list.
So what exactly happens after the mailbox eats your envelope? Let's demystify the back-end processing over at Texas Vital Statistics. First, the state reviews your application package. Next, they meticulously verify your supporting documents to ensure they're authentic and actually sufficient for the change you're requesting. Now, if there's a gap in your evidence, Step 3 kicks in. They'll reach out and request additional information. But if everything is perfectly aligned, we reach Step 4. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Your correction is approved, the birth record is officially updated, and your clean, corrected certificate or those additional certified copies are finally issued.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Pro Tips for Success. Think of this final section as your insider cheat code for bypassing the headaches of this, honestly, tedious bureaucratic process. These are crucial, actionable directives that will save you a ton of time. First, use official supporting documents only. No blurry, uncertified printouts. Second, ensure exact name matches across your documents. Consistency is absolutely key to passing their verification. Third, include a highly readable, clear photocopy of your ID. Fourth, and this one will save you immense heartache if things get lost in the mail, keep copies of absolutely everything you submit. Build your own personal file at home. And lastly, always double-check the Texas DSHS website for the most current forms and fees right before mailing, just because those administrative details can and do change.
So there you have it. We've broken down the dilemma, prepared the case, navigated the paperwork, and built a foolproof submission packet. But it leaves us with one final thought. Our identities are defined by so much more than just a piece of paper, yet navigating the modern world absolutely demands that paper be perfect. Are you ready to take that control of yours? Get your documents together, follow the structured steps we outlined today, and go reclaim your record. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.